Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, hey, what's up? What's
Yo,
up? What's
yo.
up?
Hope everybody's doing great
Good
today.
morning.
Of course, it's myself and Gutter, and today we have a special guest,
Super
NFT
special
NF
guest
Tomo.
today.
Heck yeah, for sure.
He's
We're
getting
gonna
doxxed today.
Yep.
you now have a face to NF Tomo. Thank you for coming on. And he has his own project that we're obviously going to get into this video. Just real quick, I do want to say that this video wouldn't be possible without Ninjalerts. If you're not familiar with Ninjalerts, it allows you to see patterns and trends in real time, so you know what projects are hot before everyone else. You can track your favorite influencers and your favorite traders, and you can get it by going to Ninjalerts with 1a.com to buy a lifetime NFT and then join the Discord to download the app. So thank you, Ninjalerts, for letting us have this space and have
hmm
wonderful people and projects like Tomo. So what's up today, Tomo?
Not much, guys. It's fun doing the Twitter space earlier, and happy to be on with you now. Excited to finally show everyone my face, I guess, and now hopefully everyone will be seeing it a lot more often now.
Yeah. So none of your Twitter followers have seen your face yet. This is the first time you're being
First
doxxed.
time here it is. Yep.
Hey, you get it. You hear it first on Ninja Alerts. First time NF
Right.
Tomo's here. So it's Tomo or Tomo? Because I just called you Tomo most most likely, but
Yeah,
is it Tomo?
I prefer Tommo. My name's Tom, so yeah, I think that would be my preference. Yep.
Okay. All right. Yes, NFT Tomo is here
Yep.
with us. Okay. So let's get this started. Do you want to start off talking about WGMI, or do you just want to start off, with generic questions about how you got into NFTs and just tell our audience a little bit more about yourself?
Sure, I could kind of start from the beginning, I guess, and then lead into WGMI, and then we could do a quick screen share, just take the audience through some of the features of the premium site, and then answer some questions after that, if that's cool.
Yeah, we could do that.
Completely. Let's get on it.
All right, cool. So yeah, I mean, my NFT journey kind of started about a year ago around this time. A few different people were kind of talking a lot about NBA Top Shots. So a lot of big sales, a lot of big kind of activity going on over there. Definitely, piqued my interest. I mean, big sports fan, card collector and everything else. So just seeing these digital assets that were being talked about, and people are paying a lot of money for these things, for these Top Shot moments. So I started kind of getting involved, getting invested. I think it was last February when I really dove into the space. From Top Shot, kind of moved into OpenSea a bit more. Bought a Bitbird and kind of minted a few other projects along the way. And I think one of the first things that kind of happens as you're a new collector, it's just trying to keep track of everything. You can kind of go to OpenSea and pull up your wallet, but you don't really have a good picture of kind of what your holdings are. What is the value of everything that you own and that you've purchased. So I think, like a lot of people, just had a lot of spreadsheets, OpenSea tabs open, and everything else, just trying to keep track of my portfolio. And in a few Discord servers, there was just a lot of projects that a few friends and I were all invested in, and I'd always be kind of sending the floor prices into those Discord servers. So created a very simple Discord bot that would just kind of spit out various floor prices for projects that we were invested in. From there, it was like, okay, well, we're able to get those floor prices. Why not try to figure out how to take what's in my wallet at the moment and take those floor prices and try to combine those into some kind of dashboard or tool that lets me know kind of what my total holdings are, my total value of my portfolio. So started as a tool just for myself to kind of keep track of everything that I had, and then a few friends and other people in Discord said, there's really nothing like this right now that exists in the space, and kind of encouraged me to really put it out there a little bit more and to try to start selling the service. So in July of last year, that's when first pushed out the premium version of the product. It's definitely evolved a lot since then, and definitely have a lot of plans for it as we're moving forward. At that time, I was still working a 9 to 5. Married, 2 kids, so it was a lot to kind of manage. Investing in the space, trying to build out this tool, working my full-time job, and being a husband and a father. I did that for about 5 to 6 months, and that's when I decided to kind of fully bet on myself and invest in myself and, left my full-time role. And now I'm, in the space full-time and fully dedicated to building out this site and this tool. So my last day there was January 14th, so it's March 14th now. It's been, I guess 2-3 months here since, since I've been doing this. And it's been really exciting. It's the reception and the way people have received the site and the feedback that we get, definitely appreciate that. Definitely appreciate kind of the early members, the early adopters. There's been people that I still chat with daily that, signed up for the site, the first day or the first week or so that it was out there. So, and I know they've definitely appreciated, the improvements and the changes that we've made and how we've built things out so far. Originally started out as kind of a 0.1 ETH for a lifetime membership. We've switched over recently to, an NFT membership model. We now have premium tier and a premium plus tier. So if you registered before January 16th, you were eligible to claim the WGMI premium membership NFT, and holding that in your wallet provides access to the premium version of the site. If you haven't claimed that yet, you can still claim it. We kind of had a deadline for when you could claim, and we decided to turn that off just because, if you've already paid for this, there's no reason to kind of restrict when you might be able to kind of get that NFT in your wallet. So you still have the ability to claim that NFT now. If you go to wgmi.io/wallet, you should see like a big dialogue right in your face when you log in that lets you know that you're eligible to claim that NFT.
I do have a question regarding that. So when you were talking about that over the space today, obviously I went and pulled it up on OpenSea. There's around like 3.9K additions, or maybe like 4,000 now. Not that this matters, because this is more of a utility tool NFT. So it's not like people are necessarily just jumping in to flip it. But just out of curiosity, like, do you mind sharing how many are available to be claimed still? Like what, like kind of like total supply would we be looking at? And if you are going to do a hard cutoff, maybe like when that is?
Yeah, sure. So there's potentially 5,250 NFTs that can be claimed, based on people who signed up before the deadline. So, and like you said, there's about 3,950, I think, that have been claimed so far. So we're looking at about 1,300 left that can be claimed. We, put messages out, and we did turn that off, and wanted to give everybody notice that we were going to stop claiming on February 28th. We did that. And, quickly after, there were people who, they've been away from the space for a while or just got back in and, wanted to jump on and claim their NFT, and they couldn't. So the last thing we want to do, especially if there were early users, early adopters, is kind of prevent them now from being able to access the site, because it is gated by that NFT. You need to hold that NFT in order to be able to access it. So, with everything, always open to feedback, to criticism. And, the last thing we wanted to do was to upset anyone. So we, allowed claiming and turned that back on. A lot of people kind of created separate wallets and registered from multiple wallets to be able to claim multiple NFTs. It's still kind of surprising that there's 1,300 that are still out there. And it's, I guess one thing we could potentially do would be to just try to find a way to reach out to, anyone who hasn't claimed yet, just to kind of let them know, or to kind of nudge them to claim their NFT. I mean, I think as a holder or someone who might want to do a quick flip of the NFT, you don't want to see that supply continue to go up. You kind of want to know, hey, it's set at this value, and it's not going to change from there. A lot of, kind of keep monitoring that. And there's definitely some people who signed up just to be able to claim the NFT and sell it. So if you're kind of a holder and you're hoping the price, goes up a little bit, that's going to be something that there's still going to be people out there who might claim and might list it right away, list it at the floor, undercut the floor. But yeah, right now there's about 3,950 that have been claimed, and up to 5,250 or 5,250 that can be claimed. And want to do everything we can to encourage people to claim those as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And like my first thought is, and I don't have to stick on this, this unsolicited advice, but I mean, I'm sure it'd be great for like marketing giveaways. Like if you do a deadline and there's still, X amount left, it's kind of like, okay, well, we can market these for giveaways through your YouTube channel that you're starting, or Twitter or whatever. And I don't know, maybe if you want to like auction them off or do like whatever sells, but cool. Yeah. Did you want to pull up the kind of a preview or a demo of how it actually looks if you're using the premium version?
So to step back, so WGMI basically just tracks the value of your wallets, correct? Like the floor value of your wallets.
Yep. Yeah. So, the free version of the site kind of has a curated list of projects. We're always adding newer projects to that. But that's just, you can't really change the projects that you're seeing there. Even the columns, everything else, that's kind of just an out of the box free offering that we provide for anyone who's, interested in getting that data. But the premium version connects to your wallet or connects to whichever wallet is holding the NFT. And it's showing you all of the projects and the assets that you own in either the wallet you're looking up. You can bundle and look up multiple wallets at any given time. You can look up other wallets. I could look up your wallets. I could pull those up right now.
Oh, don't do that.
If we wanted
Don't
to
do
click through those
that.
here. So yeah, and
Yeah,
it's definitely much more of a
I've heard that
customized
Gutter's been killing
experience.
it. I've heard
Yeah.
Gutter's been killing it this month. So
In the
we can check
gutter, for real.
that. Here, I'll go ahead and pull that up for us.
All right, so you have the control of that, Tommo?
Yep. Yeah. You see, looks like my
Okay,
mouse
cool.
is moving around here. Yeah. So hopefully everyone could see that. So
yeah, we can see it.
Right now I have, you have the ability to hide totals. So at the top of the screen, we do show the current ETH price, the total value of the portfolio, the total cost that you've paid for all of the assets that you have, and then your total net value as well, both in, ETH and US dollar values right now. A few different toggles at the top and a few different tabs. Right now we're looking at the portfolio view of the site. You have the ability in the cost of each of the assets that you hold, if you want to include the gas in that cost or not. You also, at the top of the screen, when you do see your total value, you can include the ETH balance in that value that you're seeing. So it'll include any ETH that you have in your wallet along with, your NFT totals. And then you have this toggle here. So you can either use the current ETH price or you can use the ETH price from the day of each transaction to get a better idea of the cost basis for your assets that you own. At this point in time, the site's really geared towards what you currently have in your wallet, what you currently have, as part of your portfolio. Something that we're working on imminently and plan on pushing out is kind of more of that historical information. So you can also see your realized gains and your past purchases and sales along with your unrealized gains. That's a big piece that I think will add a lot of value there. So it's nice to see what you have right now, but it's also good to see, hey, I did do really well last year. I did buy, and make a profit on a lot of these, projects along the way, or, didn't do well, but it would be good to see those values and be able to toggle on and off between realized and unrealized gains in your portfolio. This is where right now, this is my wallet address. You can type in multiple addresses you want into this field and kind of bundle them together, and it'll show all of the assets and all of the totals across each of the wallets that you're looking up. I talked about a little bit on the Twitter space where you can have watch list projects. So if you know what your project, the collection slug is, which is kind of the value that you'd see in the URL on OpenSea and other sites like that, you could kind of just type in that collection slug. So I have a few projects on my watch list right now, and you could kind of see that because I can't expand them. So, Wgmi, Wolves, Ether Orcs, NFT Worlds. I usually like to add projects to my watch list that are staking projects. So when you have a project with staking, you aren't, the wallet or the asset isn't in your wallet at that point in time. It's kind of staked, or, it's held in another wallet, for that project. And then you can either earn some kind of currency, or, you could gain some kind of resource within that game, along the way. But that makes it tricky to track the value of your portfolio because you own these assets, but they're just not in your wallet at that point in time. So, the solution right now for that is you can add it to your, add those projects to your watch list, and then you can modify with the Premium Plus version. You can modify your cost, your quantity, to be able to keep track of, my 11 Ether Orcs or my, the one NFT world that I have staked right now, so that those values are kind of kept track. You're keeping track of those values along with your portfolio. So that's what the watch list is for. We do have a number of different columns that you can add. I'm not going to go through all of these, but you can kind of see 30-day volume sales average, 7-day, 1 day. You can see the total supply, owners, unique percentage. So, I'll try to slowly scroll through, but you can see a lot of different, values, a lot of different data that you might want to include in your table here. So that is kind of the column feature. You have the ability to export any of this data you want to Excel. So it'll export the project and the collection information along with the assets within. So if I were to kind of expand one of these projects, this is, to me, I think where the true power really lies. So, you can see the overall collection and kind of high level information there summarized, and then you can kind of get into the details of each of the individual assets you own. So you can see, what I paid for that, when I purchased that asset, and this is where you can kind of toggle the ETH price between the day of each transaction or the current ETH price, which will affect the cost. And I think one of our best features is the ability to value your portfolio based on traits and trait floors. So right now, I kind of have project selected as my valuation option. But if I were to select traits, and select, I didn't mean to select that trait, but if I were to select this mouth grin trait, you can kind of see, this total value changed from 96.88 to, or from 90 rather to 100. So it's now using the floor value of this trait for that project instead
That's
of
really
the project
cool.
floor.
I like that.
Right now.
Really?
That's
So
really
you
cool.
can talk,
Yeah,
when
that is cool.
I click project, changes it back to 90. If I click traits, and you can select which trait you want to use there. So sometimes, it's supposed to default to the highest floor trait that you have. But sometimes projects have, traits that aren't really realistic or don't matter that much or aren't highly sought after. So you wouldn't want that trait to kind of be what gets used in your total. And you could also do average, which would take, the average of the floor for the project, and your trait. So 90 plus 100 divided by 2 is giving me that 95 value that I see there. You could change that globally at the top. So if I select traits, it should change every project now. It's going to be valuing them. And if I had the totals at the top, you would see that change. But these total columns are now using the highest trait floor that exists for each project. And then if I toggle it back to project, you can see it's changed all those total values back again to use the project floor. So if you're using project floor, it's taking your quantity times the floor to calculate the total. And then if you're using trait, so if we pull up, I guess if we pulled up the mutants, it's going to add the 2 traits up. If I were selecting trait there to give me the 5338. So it's adding the 2669, the 2669 to give us the 5338. When I toggle back to project, it's using a quantity of 2 times a floor of 19 to give me 38 there. So you have a few different options in how you can kind of value and evaluate your portfolio totals. Another option we'd like to add is recent sales as well. We do have this little shortcut here. If you click on this green tag, it'll take you out to OpenSea, kind of show you the recent sales or the recently sold assets for the trait that you selected. So while this is a nice shortcut to take you to OpenSea, we'd love to include, 42, the 32, these last sales data for each of the traits, to kind of let you value your portfolio based on that information instead of just, what everything is listed at. We have a few actions here, just a few more things I'll show, and then we'll kind of get back to, questions. A lot of these, it'll take you kind of to the floor of the project on OpenSea. You can view the sales and listings activity on OpenSea. That you can view the collection within, your assets that you own on OpenSea. You can refresh the metadata for a collection. And, you can also view the collection on LooksRare or GemXYZ as well. So just kind of shortcuts to some of those other marketplaces or marketplace aggregators. A lot of the data, nearly all the data you're seeing right now is coming from OpenSea, but we certainly hope to change that a bit more and kind of show information across additional marketplaces as we move forward. And if you have a project in your collection that you bought and for whatever reason you'd like to hide that from your totals, you can hide that project so you don't have to look at it or see it anymore. And it'll exclude those values from your totals at the top. And you could also favorite projects as well. So if I wanted to favorite Proof Collective, all that really does is it kind of pulls those projects to the top of your view. So it'll show all of your favorites ahead of all of the other projects. I unfavorited it and it kind of set it back down lower in the list. You can sort by any of these columns or any additional columns that you add, in ascending or descending order. So that's the portfolio view. And or to click on activity, this is kind of where I'm living all day, especially if I'm just kind of have it open in another tab or have it open on another
juice.
screen. Gutter juice is moving. So
we got the juice.
Yep. So what this tab is showing you, it's the sales and or listing activity for every project that you own. So it's not just an entire fire hose of any sale, that's happening at any given time. It's all based on the projects that you have in your portfolio.
That's really nice to see that volume based on projects that you have, especially like if you're not like actively checking that project to see if it's moving, just be able to like click that tab and be like, oh, there's still volume right now.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely good to see, I mean, when you see these kind of dates and, the timestamps that you see here, it's kind of like how, at least projects that you hold, how are things looking? Like you'd like to see things under kind of 2 minutes here. I think we update every 2 minutes, at least the activity, on the right here. And then on the left, this is a summarized view of everything over the past hour. So, you're able to see the total volume. You're able to see the total number of sales. In parentheses here, we have unique buyers, with Gem, with Genie, with some of these other marketplace aggregators. They let you kind of sweep floors and purchase multiple kind of assets at any given time. So showing that unique buyers is kind of a good indicator to let you know, hey, there were 20 sales over this past interval with 14 unique buyers. I think it's a little bit more bullish to kind of see the unique buyers closer to the number of sales. So, it's not just one person who swept kind of 20 of those sales or 20 of those assets. You're able to see listings. And then what we show here is sales divided by listings or sales to listings ratio. So, when we do have these kind of helpful tool tips in a lot of different areas to just kind of, if you hover over it and it's something we think could be a little bit ambiguous or it's not entirely clear what you might be looking at, try to at least explain what we're showing there. So this number is greater than 1, it's letting you know that the sales are greater than the listings over the past hour, over the past kind of time frame of the data you're looking at. So there's more people buying the project than listing it for sale. A higher number here is something that we're showing in green because that's kind of a good indicator, of the activity, of the volume that you're seeing. You can also see the current floor, the high sale, within that time frame, the low sale, and then the average sale. So this is something you're seeing, across all of the activity. If there was any sale, any listing, over the past hour, you'd be seeing it here. I definitely think there was more than 20. This is something we're working on right now. OpenSea did tweak their API recently, and it's something we're still kind of catching up to. So we need to handle that. That's a fix that we're hoping to push out later today. To make sure we are truly showing it over the past hour, which I think was something that broke over the weekend. But, for the most part, if I'm, coding, working, doing other things, I'll just have this tab here open, on my other screen and just kind of keeping an eye on volume and keeping an eye on how things are moving, for everything that I own. And then the last tab that's just pretty useful is being able to see everything that you have listed for sale. So you can kind of see every asset you have. Looks like we have a little sticky issue with that header there. But if you were to click this toggle, it shows you pretty much any asset that you have listed that you've been undercut on. So, have the Suzuki listed at, has a pretty rare trait, special fire trait. I had it listed at $24.99 and it's letting me know right now somebody has, it listed at $23.99. So this is a way, if it's something you're really looking to sell, you toggle that on and you could see, okay, let me go ahead and take a look at that on OpenSea. I can see all of the listings now with that trait, and I can see this is the $23.99 that's now listed below my $24.99. The next one is 29.5. So I can either kind of leave it here and see what happens, see if it sells, or if it's something I'm really looking to sell, try to undercut, this listing, just to kind of retake the floor of that trait if it's something I'm really looking to move or be aggressive on. So that is that tab. And the last piece, because it is something I brought up on Twitter Spaces, and let me just click on the Project Explorer. I don't think there's anything else I really need to get into from this view just yet. If I go back to the Project Explorer, this is kind of a nice view just for the collection itself. So, starting at the top, if you click on the Twitter icon, you can see the Twitter feed that exists for the project to kind of just quickly see any tweets or anything that might have, been sent out from that Twitter account. You're seeing some high-level data for the project. A lot of this at the moment is provided by OpenSea. Kind of see the floor history. We could and will likely add toggles so you can kind of change this to see, the last 7 days, the last 30 days. Right now, it's really showing you, up until we started storing our floor history data. So you're seeing all the way back to October 13th, what the floor was and how that's trended and changed. You can see your project activity or any sales on the project. This is where I was talking about, those different trait floor gaps. So this is where, you can filter by different trait type. So if you wanted to filter by, fur traits, and, you wanted to type in, a global filter value. So if I type in noise, it's now only showing me the noise trait. If I were to X that out, now I'm seeing all the fur traits again. If you wanted to see, values between 100 and, or 90 and 120, it's now showing me all of the traits, between the low and the high floor range that I typed in. And, what we mean by gap is, this 94.95 is the lowest listed asset with this trait. And then 115, should be the second lowest listed asset. So, depending on how fresh our data is, 94.95 and 115. Kind of letting you know that there's a nice little gap there. I mean, I don't think too many people have 94.95 ETH just sitting around ready to spend or ready to unload. But this view can really let you know, depending on the price range you're looking to buy, kind of let you know if there's any good deals on specific traits. If red fur was a highly sought after trait, which I don't think it is, you theoretically could kind of purchase this one at 94.95 and, relist it at 110 and try to make, a quick 10 ETH profit, not including, fees and everything else on that trait there. So certainly not financial advice. I've been burned more times than not, trying to kind of buy a trait gap and say, there's I feel like it's, if you're trait gap hunting or trait hunting, I definitely, I think it's a risky game. It's if you're looking to invest and looking to get into a project, I think it's typically much better to try to go after a floor, floor ape floor asset than it is to try to snipe those, those traits because, unless you're really in tune with the project and you kind of know which types of traits are more sought after, than others, then sure. But I definitely, you kind of want to know what you're doing. Because this could be a perfect situation where it's like, oh wow, this is an easy way to make 20 ETH or so. I'm just going to buy this and list it lower than the 115. But then what happens is then you're kind of getting into an undercut war where the 115 listing is then going to undercut you, and then you guys are racing back to the floor and the price that you purchased it at anyway. So definitely not a strategy I'd advise, but my preference would kind of be if you type in, you want to invest in a project, you want to jump in around the floor, you could kind of, tweak the low and the high price here, across all trade types to see, okay, this is potentially an undervalued asset that's listed around the floor, which is within the range that I was looking to spend anyway. And, that might be kind of a differentiator or really help you make your decision between one asset or another. So that's kind of how I would use this view right here. And this is something where we definitely want to add a bit more, more charts, more data, more analytics to this collection page, the Project Explorer, as we call it right now. To be able to show all listings, kind of listing distribution, floor distribution, whatever you want to call that. There's a lot of data, a lot of information that we've been gathering, and definitely want to add more to this piece of the site as well. So I think I spent enough time kind of doing a demo and talking about the site. Definitely want to hear you guys talk a little bit more, be able to answer questions. Hopefully that wasn't too much, but really tried to take everyone through kind of all the different features that we have available right now.
That's pretty good. So, yeah, right now I am looking into getting a specific trait from a collection. I'm not sure if you heard of the Losers Club. I just wanted to see a demo of how I would go about, doing the research via the WGMI tool. So for those who are just joining us, we are going over WGMI.io. They're the tool with Tommo. So if you go to Losers Club, I'm looking for the ETH crown trait. And that's what I've been looking at. It drops sometimes, but a lot of times like people buy scoop it up quickly and raise up the floor price on them. So would I be able to use the WGMI tool to actually like find a good buying opportunity for that specific ETH crown trait?
Sure. So yeah. So right now, if you're using the premium site and you already own, an asset from that project, you'd be able to easily get to the Project Explorer for the Losers Club, by clicking the Project Explorer kind of icon button, from the table. If that's not
so
a
you have
project,
to own it first?
well,
Okay.
yeah, there is a way to get to it if you don't own it, which is, you'd have to go to wgmi.io/project/loser club official, and that was just taking the collection slug from OpenSea. And the collection slug is the value that usually exists after OpenSea.io/collection. So if I type that in here and go to this URL, just give it a second to pull it up. So now I'm seeing the Loser Club official project. Kind of see, how the floor price has been trending. You can kind of see the different sales that existed there. And you said that was a crown?
ETH crown.
ETH crown. So I imagine that
Yes.
was a head
Head.
trait type.
Head trait,
Yep.
yes.
So if I filter by head, this is just kind of showing me the gaps right now. And here is, the head ETH crown. So if I were to click on that, I believe I saw that. Might have to take a look at what's going on there because it said that there weren't any listed. So might need to see what's going on with the listing data here. But you can see, there's one that should be listed at 0.7 and another at 0.8. Yep. So that looks to be correct there. So you can see there is, a decent gap or a 0.1 ETH gap there. You can see that there's 73 total assets within the collection that have this trait. You can see what the rarity value is. So at least right now, that would be a way that you can kind of see what that trait floor is. This listed value is supposed to be showing the total number of assets listed for sale with that trait. So I guess here it would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 6. It should be 19. So definitely have to take a look at what might be going on there. But one of the features we've talked about adding and something that we've talked about, potentially with Ninjalerts is, the awesome solution, the notifications that, you guys have in place there. If you're interested in a specific trait, like you are right now, Gutter, I want to know when ETH crown, when there's a listing below 0.7. I want to know when there's a listing below 0.6, below 0.5. Those are the types of things that we're, working on at the moment or would like to build into the site where you can create notifications per project, where you can say, I want a notification when the project floor gets above or below a certain value, when the project floor changes by a certain percentage value, when the floor drops by 5%, increases by 5%, you might want a notification there. Or let me know when that specific trait that you're really heavily keeping an eye on and targeting, either because you have assets with that trait or because you're looking to buy one with that trait. I want to know when that price is changing as well based on parameters that you're defining. So those notifications are something that's what kind of really led to, Trevor reaching out and us talking a little bit more, how can WGMI and Ninjalerts work together? You have this great portfolio tool, you have a great kind of notification tool and platform in place. What kind of synergies can we put together there to really, improve both of the offerings and improve the overall kind of NFT experience for people that are, looking to buy and invest in the space.
Cool. I don't have much questions. This is my first time fully looking through the premium version, and like it looks really awesome to me. Like it makes me want to get one. I don't really have a lot. It offered more than I expected it to. You walking through it, so
it's a lot
I hope that
of
was. I'm sure
details.
Yeah, I'm sure the viewers got that as well. It's more than, in a sense, it's more than, not in a sense, it's more than a portfolio tracker. You're able to do a lot more with it, so that's cool. And I'm always about utility NFTs. I mean, and I'm not just saying that because we're here with Ninjalerts, but like it's really awesome to have, because if you can pull all those utility NFTs together, then you should have the most leverage or the highest advantage in the market.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
I was gonna ask, so this is the premium membership. What's gonna be included in Premium Plus though? Because I see a bunch of alerts or announcement about Premium Plus membership. Can you tell us a little bit more, or can you give out information about what's gonna be included in that?
Yeah, I mean, right now, Premium Plus, there are a few features that that we have here that are Premium Plus. You can't edit the quantity or the cost of your watch list projects unless you have the Premium Plus version right now. And then one thing I didn't show, and I don't love the way that this is wrapping on my screen right now, is this profit target percentage. So that's a Premium Plus feature that we have where, let me toggle on. Let's see, targets. So going to toggle that column on here. And these are the two features that we have right now, but we have a development team that we've recently onboarded and have them up to speed, and we're working on adding a lot more features, Premium Plus features to the site. We do have our feature guide here that our Discord admin RCIV put together, and that really takes you through kind of a lot of what I did today, and also breaks out the two current Premium Plus features while we're working on a lot of the others. But what the profit target percentage field lets you do, and it's this field that you see here that I'm highlighting, and this ETH USD kind of toggle that exists that's being wrapped right now. But if you type in a value here, it's pretty much saying I want an indicator. I want to know when I've hit 100% profit on an individual asset based on the current project floor, based on the OpenSea fee, and based on the seller royalty, or the the seller kind of project fee that exists. So we could see for I guess we'll use Fidenza right now. You can see that the seller fee is 7.5%, and I'm saying I want some kind of indicator to let me know when I've hit 100% profit target on that project. So if I were to expand that, I'm seeing, well, I paid 1.99 ETH for this one. In my profit target, in order to achieve 100% profit, if I were to sell this asset, I'd have to list it for 4.42 ETH, and that's that takes into account what the OpenSea 2.5% fee is, what the project 7.5% seller fee is, to kind of let me know the value that I would need this asset to hit in order to receive 100% gains there. And what this target column is showing me is, based on that 100% value that I've typed in, this is how many assets within this collection have achieved that, or who have achieved that, profit target that I've defined there. So if I wanted to go in and kind of sell all my, or look at Wolfgang Genesis land, and I think this one's not a great example because there's certain assets where we're not showing the full kind of cost of right now. Let's see if we did kind of Cool Cat. I can see what I acquired this one for, and it's showing me 0 of 1. So I only have one asset within this collection, and it's not hitting my profit target percentage right now. So in order to achieve 100% gains, if I were to sell this asset, I would need to list it at 21.05. And because the floor of the project right now is 7.9, that's why it's displaying in red and showing me as 0 of 1. So at the moment, being able to edit your kind of quantity and cost for your watch list projects, along with that profit target percentage, those are the two Premium Plus features we have right now. And we are working on a number of different features as we're moving forward. And that's, from notifications, from more of a customized dashboard view, to, I don't want to give too much away, but we certainly have a lot of exciting features that, I'm hoping to push out as soon as we can, that we're working on kind of simultaneously here. I would definitely encourage everyone to kind of stay tuned to our Twitter account, jump into our Discord. We do plan on publishing that roadmap sometime soon. We started using Upvote as well. We certainly want to know from our members and from the community, the features that you'd like us to add, the functionality that you think you need, or that, would really improve your experience, as an investor or collector in the space. So I don't want to give too much away, but I can promise you we are working on a lot and do have a lot of exciting new features, in the pipeline that we're hoping to push out over the next few weeks and months.
All good, man. Looking forward to it for sure. I'll definitely try to stay tuned. We have 20 minutes left of the show. Around that, we usually like to take our guest and just look at a random project via Ninjalerts trends. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up for us. I do want to say it looks like the most minted right now. Is this the same project that you were watching for a while, Gutter? It's Braindrops. Is that the one that had the mobile app? That had like a million.
Braindrops.
Yeah, is that the one that had like a million downloads on the mobile app, or is
Yeah,
that different?
Brian NFTs.
Oh, yeah. Is it by Braindom or is this different? This one's literally called
By
Braindrops.
Braindom.
Okay, here,
It's by Braindom.
give me just a second. I need
So
to
before we get into that though, Tom, what's your 3 criteria for an NFT project before you hop in? Like before you ape into something, what criteria do you have to go through, whether it be the team or the art or the community? Like what are your evaluations of that?
Yeah, I mean, I've certainly haven't been investing nearly as much as I was about a year ago. Just trying to focus as much as it's important to have, docs creators. I think people, you just hear about some of these communities and you kind of see numbers of Discord members or Twitter followers. And, a lot of it, a lot of those have scams, rug pulls, whatever kind of came of some of those projects. So you can't just use the numbers, on their surface, but definitely, the art is something that's important. I think if it pops, if it's something I really like, if it's something I think others will like, that's something that always catches my eye. I think, at the end of the day, if I buy something and, obviously, yeah, we all would love to make money on all of the investments that we're making. But, if I do like it enough just to kind of, hold it, potentially frame it, do something else with it, then, usually, could be a decent purchase there. But, so I definitely need to believe ideally in the art, believe in the project, take a look at the team, kind of just make sure that they're not hiding anything, that they don't have, a shady past or kind of a history of, not taking care of their members. But you just want to kind of have people that are really passionate about what they're doing, always looking to kind of add value, continuing to add value, kind of have a good track record in the space. So I think the people are really, the biggest thing there, and with that, definitely have a lot of projects on my radar and, jumping in the Twitter spaces, jumping into the Discord, just trying to chat with people, chat with the creators, you can really learn a lot there. I think, it's kind of easy to spot people who know what they're doing, know what they're talking about, are passionate, and certainly believe in, what they're building out versus, people who are clearly just, looking to make a quick buck flipping a project. And then, they're not going to continue to add value to their members, in the long run.
So do you mint high mints, or do you not care what mint prices are, or do you tend to go towards lower mint prices?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I think, to me, the high mints are a bit scary. It's just like, especially if it's kind of a newer project and potentially newer people in the space, it's like, what have you done, or for what reason do you have to be charging that much where you haven't really proven anything yet? It's like, I definitely think, at least initially, anything that has a mint over 0.1, not that it's a red flag, but it's something that I'm definitely going to have to do a bit more research on and really, really dive into. These brain drops I have a few brain drops myself. Unfortunately, I missed the drop that you guys are showing on here because we were on the Twitter space, which was really fun. But I did miss out on these drops here. But yeah,
I'm sorry for smirking, man. These things are distracting as hell.
Yeah, but the
like dancing and stuff.
Yeah, I mean the high mint price though. I think that's it's just how can you justify charging that much when you haven't proven anything, you haven't done anything yet. You don't have a track record of success. That's kind of a bigger red flag. I think I'd much rather have a lower mint price, and even at that point, if they're secondary. I mean, that's another thing. What's your secondary sales fee too? You have a high mint price and you're trying to take 10% as well. That's kind of showing a bit of greed. To me, where I think you have a lower mint price. Sure, if you want to charge a little bit more on the secondary sales, but at least at that point, you hope that you are showing, improving, and adding value to your members, adding value to the community. There is some kind of utility or plan behind the project that you've put together. At least that way, it's like then you're continuing to fund the project moving forward and continuing to kind of invest in what they're doing and what they're building. So yeah, those high mint prices are definitely scary, and I know I've gotten wrecked on a few of them recently. The red flags were there, and I just kind of ignored them, unfortunately. And I know a lot of others have as well. But yeah, if that's too high, especially if it's not a Dutch auction or anything like that, and they're just kind of starting with a fixed high price, to me, it's just how do you even justify charging that, especially if it's kind of newer people in the space.
Yeah, if you talking about red flags, I'm gonna allow this for a few of those high mint prices. I kind of want to pull them up, but I shouldn't, just so if we put them up, we're just gonna laugh at them. But
Yep.
I have those going on as well. So I kind of
Did you still want to look at that? Sorry, I know I'm kind of like
yeah.
going all over the place. You still want to stay on brain drops, or you want to go to a different one?
So brain drops is basically art blocks. So it's kind of different from the typical drops. So we could just go and evaluate another more typical drops.
Yeah, that's
on
why I
Ninjalerts.
originally went back, because this would be kind of a weird example to use, Bings. It's a little different the way that they're approaching it. So we can definitely click something different. Tommo, if you see something that you particularly catches your eye, feel free to, or if you see people I know you said you don't trade as much. Do you use Ninjalerts when you do trade, or have you used it? Put you on the spot there for a Ninjalerts show. And not every Sasha said no, because Sasha's straight up just not an active trader right now. So like I mean,
Yeah, it's kind of something where I just have so many distractions right now. Like the last thing I need is more notifications where it's like, this project's really moving, and these, names or these wallets or these people who I kind of, really follow, like Sneaky Ninja Pants, for example.
mhm.
If he's jumping into something, that's going to catch my eye, and I'm going to drop everything I'm doing, to potentially try to mint that, whether it's him or whether it's others in the space. And at that point, it's like, I think there's a lot of value in the tool, in the product, for people that are, really just trying to invest in the space and putting a lot of their time into that. I'd hate to really just jump into anything based off of alerts that I haven't previously done research in. If it's something that's just kind of stealth minting and just popping off, it's like, is it smart to just blindly invest and blindly follow, or is it something that I should have an idea of what I'm throwing money into? So I mean, it's certainly, I think it's always fun to jump in and mint a few of anything that's going off. But I definitely would advise to try to do some research before you do it. But I definitely a big fan. I've been on the site, follow the Twitter accounts. I like some of the notifications and alerts that get pushed out there as well. And something where if I start getting a little bit more active and a little bit more start investing a bit more again and taking a little bit of a step back from building, I would certainly be subscribing to and using Ninjalerts. But don't really have the time right now to take the foot off the gas from building things out. But yeah, really, really, great tool, for sure, to see kind of what's going on. I mean, I know those Ether Orcs allies, they just recently dropped their, I think it was up a little bit. They dropped their, their allies, their rogues, I think just, dropped recently, which is kind of just another class, another dynamic to that game. to what they have going on. So EtherOrcs are very involved. There's a lot of white papers that you could go out and read where there's different classes, and it's kind of a fully on-chain game. They've migrated to Polygon recently. Kind of like we talked about, one of those staking projects where if you had orcs that you had staked, they're earning Zug, which is the currency that's used in the game. And then you can mint shaman with that Zug that you've earned, and then if you stake your shaman, you can earn bone shards, and that's kind of how you can mint additional shaman, or you can mint additional rogues. You can send them on raids, you can do crafting, you can make potions. I mean, it's
That's
almost
really cool.
like an on-chain MMO, but it's
Yeah.
it's kind of a lot of just interacting. And I mean, that's why they moved to Polygon, just because there's a lot of transactions, kind of a lot of like you see there, just trying to come up with a solution where you can save gas and kind of have those faster transaction speeds on those layer 2 chains than you would on Ethereum.
Are you directly involved with this project, or you just like researched it and kind of from the outside?
I'm
Like, do
invested
you
in the
own any?
project, but I have 11 orcs that I
Oh wow,
purchased
okay.
months ago, but I'm not actively playing nearly as much as others. I kind of
So
just have them
the game's
all.
active, like, for the most part.
Yeah, yep, yeah. I mean,
Cool.
they're adding to it constantly. That was just something where I know I'm invested in it, and it caught my eye kind of as you were
What
scrolling
made
through
it catch your
Ninjalerts
eye?
there. Initially,
Yeah, initially, like before buying 10 of them.
yeah. Well, what kind of happened was, because I had one or two, they were there was kind of play to earn dynamics there where you can either train them or you can farm them. So training them kind of leveled them up and increased their level. In leveling them up, they could then earn more Zug. So, and then you can mint additional orcs with that Zug. So I might have purchased 2 or 3, and then the act of just kind of
Cool.
playing the game, they were earning Zug. I was able to mint additional orcs from that Zug that they kind of accumulated and accrued for
Dang. So
me.
you just by doing that, you now, if you sold, earn 1 ETH per orc that you like got from in-game mechanics.
Yeah, well, those are the allies. So
Oh
the
yeah, that's right. That's
floor,
right. These are the
yeah,
allies.
the floor of the orcs right now is 2.75.
Okay,
I
so
don't,
yeah,
yeah,
way more actually.
yeah,
Dang.
yep,
Okay, that's
and
super cool.
yeah, it's like, well, you had it staked, you earned the Zug, you were able to mint more, with that Zug that you earned from within the game, and if you wanted to then sell those orcs, yeah, it was kind of, you minted it technically
So
for free, but for whatever you did pay for the original orc, then
yeah,
they kind
sure.
of, yep.
So you can probably answer this question from the audience is, are y'all bullish on the current P2E? I don't know if he's talking about this project specifically or just the way P2Es are like, are in the space
Yeah,
right now.
a lot of them are pretty much the same, to be honest with you. So, like everything you just said about Ether Orcs,
Yep.
it's pretty much the same thing as every other P2E game right about now.
But it
So,
sounds like
what, what
they were sooner on it because like
yeah, they were first. They were definitely
yeah.
earlier.
Yeah, they were one of the early ones, which was, nothing, there really wasn't much like that in the early going. So it was like, wow, this is a really cool idea. What's tough is like, is it really playing? You're doing a lot of clicking, you're staking, you're unstaking. There's some cool graphics, there's cool dynamics. Even when you're sending it out on a raid, it's like, okay, they're raiding now for 2 weeks. And then at the end of the 2 weeks, I kind of see what loot I earned or what kind of rewards I get from that, So, I used to be a much more active gamer, and, it's tough to call some of these things games because you're not actively interacting or kind of playing. But, I think they need to start somewhere. And, I do think that there are more games that are a little bit more interactive, potentially a little bit more graphical, but it's, you need to start somewhere and kind of build and iterate upon that, and especially if you're talking about Ethereum and, until ETH 2.0 comes out, you kind of need to do it on additional chains or separate chains because of the
Mhm.
gas fees, because of the speed, so that's important, but you'll see on Twitter all the time, like, is anyone actually playing these games or, having fun doing some of these things? I mean, I know you have Axie, which is definitely a bit more interactive and kind of a whole separate world, that they've kind of built there. But I think a lot of these ETH play to earn kind of games, it's, you know, how fun are they versus just kind of being something cool, different, interesting that is profitable, but is it truly a game right now? But I certainly think, you know, um, gaming is a huge industry. And I certainly can see, you know, the mix, the partnership, the kind of integrations between what NFTs are doing and gaming. You know, I'm kind of surprised at how some of the gamers and gaming community are almost down on NFTs, you know, and kind of talk negatively about the space and everything else.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah,
just
didn't
like,
Steam come out and say like we're not going to have anything to do with NFTs?
yeah,
Yeah, they
yep.
did.
And it's like, I know how many Fortnite skins I've bought my son, you know, over the past few years. And
Yeah.
it's like, what if we own those and, you know, we don't need that skin anymore and somebody else might be interested in it. And I can now, you know, sell that skin to them, or
Yeah,
from
without
using
getting
that skin within
trouble,
the, right.
without
Yeah.
getting in trouble by the game themselves, and then the game actually, you know, could still get the royalties from that sale. So it's just a no-brainer for people who like somewhat grasp the concept. But I
Yeah.
don't
The
know.
game gets the royalties. You get the royalties. You know, it seems like, you know, a win for everybody at that point. But yeah, that's it's something I'd like to see kind of change. And I think maybe once there's a bit more education and people kind of understand a bit more about, you know, the technology behind it and everything else, that hopefully that sentiment will change. But yeah, it's kind of one of the most puzzling things for me right now is just why are gamers kind of so down on it? You know, it just seems like another revenue stream for them almost, or another way for them to kind of make money. You know, versus just only the game developers, you know, being the ones that are potentially profiting, you know,
So
from buying skins and everything else.
this is a kind of a side note, a little bit of alpha, a little bit of just like comedy. It has to do with this. So last week, Gutter and I quite frequently talk about how we get annoyed with like whitelist or like allow list, you know, because like they are like basically abusing the people who are trying to get on it by like using them as like marketing, even though they're the ones
Yep.
like paying money on it, and then a lot of times they dump on them. Yada. All that to say, last week there was one that they were doing a giveaway, and you had to do. I'm like, dude, I'm so out of shape. I just had my second kid like 3 weeks ago. I've been a dad for years,
Congrats.
full dad bod. But in order to get the whitelist, you had to do 40 air squats in a minute. And I was like, dude,
What?
I'm like, you know, I've grown up like doing sports my whole life, you know, and like I'm pretty decently active. So I was like, yeah, whatever, dude. I'll do air squats. Haven't done them in a while. I did the challenge because they teamed up with some like fitness company. I did the
Okay.
challenge to try to get on the allow list, and like it's been like 3 days. I'm still like stumbling. My thighs are so sore. The thing that what the allow list allowed you to get on though is they're releasing a play to earn game that looks pretty promising. It's weird. Like the whole concept is weird because it's not really an NFT project. It's a crypto project, but they're going into the NFT space and they're taking their crypto project into the NFT space, which I'm seeing a lot more of recently. Even people who are strongly against NFTs in the crypto space are still like doing their own projects. And the game's going to be built on that. So the game's not only going to be obviously the game is going to support their ecosystem of like their crypto, and it looks really cool. And they've actually hired like game developers to work on it. So I thought it was worth it. I don't even know yet if they've announced, you know, who won the giveaways, but the probably the most annoying thing I've ever done for a whitelist.
So
You
you did
did
all
air
40?
squats? Are you serious?
40 of them, bro. just for a gamble. I'm telling you, I'm still stumbling.
Can we see that
Oh my
video?
god.
What's
Yes,
that?
please.
Can we see the video?
Oh, it's you know, it's somewhere.
Oh, he's
You should make that-
lying. We want
make
that.
that
We
an
want
I
NFT.
that.
swear, bro.
Yeah.
I'll send it. I'll send it to you after.
So
what?
this is what you've been doing for whitelist spots?
Well,
Is this?
I know I'm talking trash about them online. I'm sitting here giving up my body for them when I'm not on camera.
Wow, I had no clue.
Yeah, man. If you see me more and more jacked throughout the next few months of us doing this, you know why. All those whitelist spots.
Yeah, you're gonna be in great shape with a lot of NFTs at that
Yeah.
All right, so I just wanted to ask one more question, Tom. Do you know anything about Illuvium, and do you see a future with games like Illuvium? Because we've been waiting for Illuvium for a little while now, and it's, you know, it has a lot of promises. The price of the token is pretty high. It's a lot lower than it was, but it's still pretty high, around $500. So, like, what do you think the future is for something like that?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not entirely familiar with it, so it's something I'd have to definitely read a little bit more about. You know, I've seen some really cool just games and videos and other things like that. You know, just promoting, you know, similar to what you've described, I guess, where it's like this is, you know, a P2E, you know, MMO that's graphical and everything, you know, and it's like,
Very graphical, yeah.
yeah, but you could you could easily throw a trailer together, or a few minute video, as we've seen with certain projects recently, where it's like, wow, that looks awesome. And then you kind of get the art and it's revealed and it's nothing, like that trailer video. So I think that's something where you just need to, keep in mind, does it have a good backing, and how legit is it? But, I've messed around a little bit on like with Gala Games, and I do have a Gala Games node, and
Oh, you got a node?
Yeah, I bought a node like
Whoa.
back in September. I'm reading the chat right now. But yeah, I mean, it was cool to have the node. I was playing Townstar, kind of. My wife started playing Townstar a little bit, which is kind of like Farmville. So, I mean, those are the
Yes.
kind of games where it's like you used to see them on Facebook and or Meta, other places where it's like they are addictive, and they keep you coming back for more. And if you could play it and make money off of it, then that's cool. And it's like it's just like it's tough. I think some of these projects might be a little bit more or too ambitious, which you want to aim high for sure, but then you want to make sure you're able to deliver on those promises. So if you're over promising and under delivering, which I think a lot of projects have, or a lot of what we've seen, a lot of overhyped projects, that's what ends up happening. Always like to be a little cautious there. But I'd like to do some more research on Illuvium and just kind of see.
So
What
are
you're
you saying
talking about there.
Illuvium is a rug or what? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I don't know anything about it yet, but I could follow up and let you know what my thoughts are. What once I do some research into it. But yeah, I guess just I think the first company that really is able to pull it off, that's going to be awesome. But it's definitely a hard task, and something that's tough to accomplish. But yeah, I know there's a lot of good teams building a lot of great things out there right now. So just a matter of time before a few of them come out, and then that'll be kind of the new normal, I think. And then everyone will just kind of base what they're doing off of that success. And that's kind of how you keep. I think that's how the entire space will kind of continue to grow, iterate, and improve. It's just like the bar will just continue to get set higher and higher and higher as more money and more people and everything else come into the space. And that's kind of what you see everywhere. It's like, all right, this is the state of P to E right now. But a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we're going to look back and say, remember what EtherOrcs was, and then either what it became or everything else that was kind of all based on or built on top of that. So you definitely do need to try to think bigger picture and think in the future. But it's, I just think the state of the entire space and industry is just going to continue to be different. We see it week to week, month to month, talking about years from now. I mean, it's, who the heck knows what's going to be out there. And it's awesome to kind of be at the forefront, building it, talking about it, involved in it, to be able to 10 years from now, it's like, yeah, we had that Twitter space and the YouTube live stream. We were talking about this 10 years ago. And now everyone, is, has an NFT, and now everyone, is playing play to earn games and everything else and making a living off of them, or, whatever things might, come 10 years from now, a decade from now, so that's the crazy part of all of it, I think, is, it's, you kind of need to think about and live in the now, but just know, that there's a lot that's coming, and there's a lot that's going to be possible as we continue to build on it and kind of grow together. So it's very exciting, and, big reason why I made the switch, where it's like, could either be at the ground floor of something new and kind of, life changing and, the future of technology, or, kind of continue down the path I was on. And to me, that was a no brainer. So definitely exciting stuff that, we're seeing here, and excited for what's ahead.
Cool, man. Well, we are at the hour and 4-minute mark. I think it's time to wrap it up. Tommo, thank you so much for being a part, showing us WGMI.
Thank you.
Gutter, as always, pleasure to co-host with you. Yeah, and you've also mentioned that you plan on coming in maybe a little bit more frequently, Tommo. Like maybe this isn't a one-time thing.
Yeah, I love that. I think to continue to give updates, as we kind of talk with Ninjalerts a bit more as well, and try to cross promote, and potentially build some integrations out there. I think I would love to be on as much as possible. Just kind of continue to give updates in the space. Maybe even have my own show and having you guys on that as well. So I think that would be
Absolutely,
awesome.
Sure thing.
Yeah,
I'd love that. Sweet. Awesome. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you got a lot out of this. It was so good for Tommo to be able to explain his WGMI project. I mean, I know like I got a lot of information on it that I didn't have before this. So I was kind of glad that I was able to like soak all that in with you guys that were also watching. People in the comments, thank you so much for engaging. There was quite a few of you, so thank you. Everybody's watching this afterwards. Yeah. Anything else you want to add, Gutter, or we good?
GG. Anything, Tommo?
GG.
Nah, thank you guys. It's been fun. We're gonna make it.
Until next time. Peace.